Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. Tonight, we're going to be going over the tight end yard share percentage study. We just covered the wide receivers and the running backs. If you guys go to the Fantasy Fellowship or the Fellow KGB YouTube channel, we got the wide receiver video right here, the running back video right here as well, and we just covered a PPR mock draft last night. So check those videos out if you have not seen them yet. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at these yard share studies. If you are unfamiliar with yard share, it is the percentage of how many yards a player has accounted for within his own offense. The higher the percentage, the better the player performs. So let's take a look here at the top 12 tight ends from yard share last season. And then we'll kind of see where they finished in PPR formats here. So the ranking 1 through 12 on the left, the PPR finishes all the way on the right, but the way they're filtered by right now, you're looking at it as yard share. So we range from 20.81% all the way down to 9.76%. So the top two guys, Kelce and Darren Waller, head and shoulders above the rest of the pack here. There's a huge drop off to number 3, Evan Ingram, at 13.32%. And you're just looking at the total yards that these tight ends had. Last year, only 2 tight ends over 1,000 yards. The next closest was 723. That's TJ Hawkinson down there at ranking number 6 for yard share. So I shouldn't have to tell you guys to go after Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, and probably George Kittle this season. I think those are the clear top 3 tight ends. Those guys are going to dominate. Darren Waller, I think, is just heating up. And Travis Kelce he's just pure gold right now at the tight end position. So try to get a top 3 guy if you can. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of looking at some criteria here for what you should consider as your tight end 1. So interesting to note here, of the 12 tight ends ranked higher in yard share, 9 of these guys finished as tight end 1. So they finished as top 12 tight ends in PPR last season. The outliers are Evan Ingram, tight end 14, George Kittle, number 19, and Eric Ebron down here at number 16. Otherwise, you're looking at a 75% hit rate. So the guys that were highest in yard share, really good probability that they're going to be a tight end 1 for you this season in PPR. And then just looking at some of the yardage percentages, again, only 2 tight ends were over 1,000 yards, but 700 yards, like no tight end other than Kelce and Waller had more than 800 yards. So if you can get a tight end that's projected 700 some yards plus, Gesicki here with 703, Hawkinson 723, Mark Andrews 701. Only 3 other tight ends were over 700, and they finished tight end number 7, tight end number 4, and tight end 6. So that 700 yard is kind of a threshold. If you think you've got a top 5 tight end on your hand, he's got to probably be over 700 yards. And then there's kind of another threshold hidden in here for yards where you see the majority of these guys are over 600. Eric Ebron did not make the 600 list, but he was tight end number 16. So really strong, tiering of yards here. You want a tight end, a top 5 potential tight end should be over 700 yards. And then any tight end over 600 yards, we should be strongly interested in for fantasy. Let's kind of scroll down here. And then if you go get the 2021 draft kit, I do have the link in the description below. You'll get access to look at these a little bit closer for yourself. But I say elite tight end 1's projected over 14% yard share. That's who we want to draft. Again, only 2 tight ends over 14%, I guess even over 13.33%, if you will. Target tight ends projected more than 600 total yards, and then draft TEs with a projected yard share greater than 9 to 10%. So you kind of see the drop off here to percentages dips to the low, or I guess the high 9s. Otherwise, if you can find a tight end that is over double-digit percentage for yard share, you're looking at a pretty good tight end season coming for him. Sorry, I'm losing my voice just a little bit. We'll try to make this video a little bit quicker, but that's pretty much like the majority of the takes here. You see there's only a few other tight ends that are over 9% opportunity or yardage share. And then the numbers start to get a little bit skewed. They're kind of all across the board. But the ones of note here, Hunter Henry, 613 yards, PPR tight end 12. Hayden Hurst, 571 yards, tight end number 9. And Robert Tonyan, 586, 400, or tight end number 4. Those are the closest guys that got to roughly 600 yards. So if you think you got a good tight end down your hand, they should be somewhere around 600 yards minimum. Because otherwise, you're looking at a massive drop off. They're going to probably be a tight end, number 20 or something like that. So just very interesting. You can see all the numbers range all the way down here to 5.94%. So that, to me, it's kind of that 9% plus. That's where you want your sleeper tight end range to be. And then just to recap real quick, Elite tight ends projected over 14% yard share. Tight end ones projected more than 600 total yards. And then tight end ones projected yard share greater than 9 or 10%. So that's kind of the study. Let's take a quick peek at my projections here, which if you do get the draft kit, you will get access to these projections and all the rankings and everything that I have in there. So I'm just going to filter here by yard share. We're going to kind of look at our rankings here. So the first rule was draft elite tight ends over 14%. That's Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle. By a good percentage, too. The closest is TJ Hawkinson, number 4 at 13.04%. So where would that have ranked TJ last year? 13.04%. Again, he would have been a top 3, top 4 tight end based on yardage share. And then Kyle Pitts is the next one coming in hot here at 12.81%. And that's my 4th and 5th ranked. This is essentially my tight end rankings. Hawkinson's number 4, Pitts is number 5. And then after that, you can kind of make a case for a handful of guys. So let's kind of look at the next threshold. I said any tight end over 9% should be on our radar as a potential tight end 1. That's Noah Fant, Logan Thomas, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki, Blake Jarwin, and Tyler Higbee. Now, the guys that were kind of outliers last season, Robert Tonyan with all those touchdowns. You got Hunter Henry chilling there just below that line, Eric Ebron. I think that's probably my pool of tight ends that I want to consider. And again, you see here too, all of these tight ends are over 600 yards. So they're gonna meet both of my criteria. I want you over 600 yards, and I want you 9% yard share. Otherwise, I'm probably not gonna draft you this season. So let's just filter by receiving yards. And I guess we can include, there's kind of a clear drop off here. These are the 14 tight ends I believe you should be targeting in fantasy football this season. That's Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, of course, Pitts, Hawkinson, Goddard, Logan Thomas, Noah Fant, Mark Andrews, Blake Jarwin, Mike Gesicki, Tyler Higbee, Jonnu Smith, Robert Tonyan Jr. And then after that, these guys are all kind of like solid tight end number 2s. I would probably say this list of I've got a small list of a few guys here. Anywhere from Eric Ebron, Anthony Ferguson, Evan Ingram, Merv Smith, Hunter Henry, Jared Cook, Cole Kmet. Those guys are all solid tight end number 2s for me. I do like a guy like Austin Hooper, Dawson Knox, Gerald Everett, Adam Troutman, OJ Howard. So it does get pretty deep here, but I'm telling you, if you can get 2 of these guys here, projected that I have almost over 600 yards, that's going to be what you want. So whether you start off with a Hawkinson or Pitts and you can snag a Jonnu, a Higbee, or a Blake Jarwin's my favorite tight end in this current season for tight end projections, but that should be a pretty good baseline there. So you want minimum 600 yards for your tight end 1, and then hopefully he's got the good opportunity share. So I'll just kind of share my PPR rankings real quick. These are the top 12 guys that I'm drafting. That's how I'm doing it. And then if you like a tight end late, I don't mind grabbing, the Jared Cook, the Hunter Henry late. I'm kind of out on Irv Smith. I can get into that later if you guys have questions. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I tried to make it real quick. I got a really fun video tomorrow. We're going to be going live at 10 a.m. I got Sigmund Bloom from Football Guys coming in to hang out. So if you can hang out 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, that's where we'll be at. We're going to be looking at projections and just talking about the numbers that we whipped up this season. So that's going to do it for tonight. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for your time. We'll see you guys later. Peace.